spiritual partnership is something I've heard you say before.
Yeah.
When you met your man,
Yeah.
how did you know that you guys were building a spiritual partnership and connecting from a spiritual space, even though you had this kind of, you had a great relationship with your parents, but there was something missing still with your father. How did you learn to trust your intuition in relationship when you had a broken, partial relationship, fractured?
Such a good question.
Relationship with your dad. How did you trust your intuition? With the man you have now?
So there are a couple of things. I mean, one is my parents, the fact that my parents are still together is a real gift and a miracle. And I remember, right, like it's not that common. And there were times, I talk about this in the memoir, where I would be like, you guys should break up. Like, what, you are not happy.
Interesting.
And I remember my mom saying to me, like, I know that you think you know everything. I was like 16. She was like, your 16 years are the full picture, but your 16 years are a fraction of our marriage, right? Like we were together long before you got here.
Right.
So we have had good times and bad times. We've had ups and downs. Like your little window into this is not the full story. And that was a really important lesson to me in what marriage is, that there are highs and lows. It's a journey, it's a path. And like, if you're committed, you have to be committed for the journey. And that's not to say that I don't agree with divorce, that I don't think divorce isn't right for some people, that, some relationships are meant to be forever, some are for a season. Like all of that is true. But I think I had an understanding that marriage as a commitment, if you're going to make the commitment, it has to be about something deeper than ego. Like something has to keep you, if you're going to do it with love and joy and, I mean, I don't know if I need to say any other word other than love. If you're going to do it with real love, then having something deeper to commit to that's bigger than just the two of you is really important. So I think that's where the spirit comes in.
How did you guys create that commitment then from something bigger? What did you talk about? And when things are tough, because, you're talking about Shadow Force, where the father in the movie, he's kind of taking on the father role and taking care of the kid with you kind of running away and escaping or whatever. I'm not saying this is a parallel to your life, but there are times where you're really busy. You're on set all day, 10, 12-hour days for months at a time, where I'm assuming you have to have extra support, or your husband's taking the lead in certain areas of parenting. I'm making assumptions here, but correct me if I'm wrong, where he has to step up as well. How did you guys communicate the alignment with you guys' careers, separating ego, because I know he's very successful in what he's done in the past as well, and what he's doing now. How do you separate ego and make spirit and love the center when each one of you are evolving in career as well?
So, I mean, one thing is I'm always careful to talk too much about like the us when he's not in the room, because I feel like it's interesting. It's sort of like with my kids. Like I don't post a lot about my kids or talk a lot about their inner lives or their journeys, because I feel like their story is theirs and they have a right to tell their story in their way. And I feel that way a little bit about my marriage too. Like if we were both sitting here, we could kind of agree and co-sign on it. But I would say the first thing I thought about when you asked me that question is the importance of therapy. Because
Let's go.
Let's go, right? Like individual therapy, couples therapy, like being willing to have spaces where you do the work. And I remember my dad one day being like, you guys are in couples therapy? Like, what's wrong? And we were like, nothing. Like, nothing's wrong. It is a place where we go to take care of our marriage. In the way that I go to the gym to take care of my body, or I go to the dentist to take care of my teeth. Like, I feel like as a couple, we deserve, and therefore we cultivate a place where we care for our relationship.
Beautiful.
And it doesn't come out of crisis. It doesn't come out of things that are bad. I mean, in fact, like we spend a lot of time in therapy consciously talking about what we're doing well and acknowledging that for each other.
That's so cool.
Because it's really important to not take for granted that there are good things to celebrate and acknowledge about each other, right? And so that's, I mean, I feel like therapy is a big part of that spiritual commitment. So one of the things I remember one of my many therapists saying early on to me was, a healthy relationship is not just about like give and take, like I do for you, you do for me, that actually it's important to think about the relationship almost as a third entity that you're both pouring into.
Yes.
It's like a bank account. It's like a spiritual or emotional love account where like I'm not just doing for him and then he owes me. It's like we're both pouring into this thing that matters to us, which is the marriage.
That is beautiful.
Right?
I'm so glad you said this because I haven't heard a lot of people in your position talk about therapy and marriage.
Oh my God.
And one of the things that Martha, my wife, and I committed to early on.
Congrats on
Thank
your
you.
marriage.
Yeah, it's been
Do
a
you
couple
like
months.
saying wife?
It's so weird. I have to say it because first it was girlfriend, then it was
Yeah,
fiance, then it's
fiance,
wife. It's
yeah.
like, okay, I'm getting used to wife.
I just love the word husband. I'm like, I like add multiple syllables.
Husband.
Like, husband. I love it. Yeah.
I'm still stepping into it, but
Yeah.
it's been a great experience. But one of the things when we were dating non-exclusively, before we became committed exclusively, we were having an amazing time, but there was still some like little fear or anxiety or worry about getting fully committed because in every previous relationship I was in, it all ended badly in therapy.
Oh,
and I was like,
because you went to therapy when things got bad.
Yes. And I always wanted to get into therapy sooner, but the partners I chose resisted therapy. And I was always thinking, what woman would not want a man to go to therapy with them? Right? So I was always like, what world am I living in right now? But I kept repeating this cycle.
But then you learned to choose a partner who was willing to walk that walk with you.
And I said, I want to start, if we're going to get committed, because we're having an amazing time, I want to start in therapy.
Amazing.
And so we started right away within the first few months.
So smart.
Not because something was wrong.
So smart. Because then when you have something that you need to unpack, you're not like, uh-oh, we got to step in the ring and battle it out in therapy. It's like, no, you know what? Let's talk about that this week.
Exactly. And it's been the greatest gift that we've given each other because in the first year, we just went and we got alignment.
Yes.
We got spiritual alignment.
And a shared language.
Shared language. We got to talk about past fears or future concerns up front. We got to address all the things that we were afraid of. And come together and be like, oh, we're teammates. We're building a team.
That's right.
We're investing in courageous conversations.
Yeah.
We're allowing for imperfections in both of us. No one needs to be perfect.
Yeah.
And we're stepping into a process of unity and alignment around shared values and a shared vision together.
It's so funny because I hadn't really thought about this. I mean, I know sometimes when you're doing press for a movie, you're like, oh my God, this is why we're doing this. Like, should we have known this earlier? But I think a big part of what pulled me towards Shadow Force was that you get to watch this couple that sort of start out as adversaries because they are like, their marriage is fractured and they actually become a team. Right? And like literally one of the hardest, most exciting, most fun fight scenes in the film is early on, Omar and I fighting each other. It's like it's like your worst couples therapy. Yes.
Or you're like
drop kicks. Yeah. Because we're both like highly trained mercenaries, right? So he's this big guy. He's really strong. He's done lots of stunts in big action movies. And we trained for a long time together to be able to do this dance. And we talked about like how his character fights differently from my character, our different fight styles and what that says about our relationship and how this couple is kind of competitive and they challenge each other. And there is like a real friction between them. You know, he's angry that she's disappeared. She's angry that she hasn't had access to the child. And there's heat between them, right?
Who's the dirty fighter? Who's the low blow? Is that you?
I mean, I have to be more strategic. He's a big guy. Yeah, you know, I mean, I got to use what I have. And as the film progresses, you get to watch them become a team. And so then it was fun for us to learn how to train together. Like, well, what are your strengths? Like, I'm a better shooter than him, but he's a stronger fighter, right? And so like, how do we lean into that in the film so that we're an unstoppable team.
Yes.
And I think that is so much what marriage is, right? Like it's like figuring out, okay, this is your fighting style. This is my fighting style. Here are the things I'm upset about. What are your resentments? I don't recommend like hand-to-hand combat for most couples.
No.
It's not okay. Not okay.
This is the 50s.
Exactly. But to figure out how to lean into the strengths and how to speak the same language and how to have a shared, whether you call it spiritual alignment, shared goals, shared priorities, like they come together for their son where they're like, this child means everything to us. What do we have to do to protect him?
Wow. Would you say therapy has helped you not only in your, I guess, marriage and your family dynamic relationships, but also in your career and stepping into owning your power and your worth? Even though you're excelling and succeeding so much, do you still have any doubts or insecurities?
Yes.
Really?
Absolutely.
You're Kerry Washington.
Yeah. So what?
What type of, for someone watching and listening who maybe is really struggling and they don't have much going on in their life, or they just feel like things are just keep knocking them down. Their career isn't working the way they want to. They don't feel like they're living in love. They don't feel like they're living their dreams or in the pursuit of their dreams. They feel like relationships are kind of off and they really lack self-worth. What advice would you give them, for anyone watching or listening who might be in that space, on how to start the process of truly loving and accepting yourself, even when you feel really low?
For me, part of why therapy is so important is because it has taught me to pause. It has taught me to take a pause and to not believe every single thought that I'm having, to not get caught up in the negative self-talk, to create a little bit of distance between the stimulus and the response. There's a saying that I love that pause stands for postpone action until serenity emerges.
Amazing.
Right? Like just take a beat. And for me, in the way that life moves so quickly, sometimes therapy is that beat where I get to go like, hold on. The story I'm telling myself is that my job is terrible. The story I'm telling myself is that the world is on fire. The story I'm telling myself is that I'll never be in the body I want to be in. The story I'm telling myself is that I'll never find the person I want to find. But like, maybe I can just pause that for a moment and unpack it and figure out how to walk toward healing.
Yes.
So for me, therapy is a place to like pause and be reflective, take responsibility for the thoughts, be honest with myself, and then try to cultivate some tools. Because some of it could be that I'm not sleeping enough, right? Like sometimes what I realize in therapy is like, I don't think I'm getting enough sleep, or I don't think I'm eating right, or my hormones are off. I need to support myself better. Or this relationship isn't working out, or I don't know if I'm happy on this job, or the job is good, but I think maybe I need a hobby. Like it just gives me, and so maybe for some people it's therapy, for some people it could be like meditative walking or journaling, but it's like, what are the practices that allow me to pause and get in the present moment and be more honest with myself?
Yeah. When you're stepping into a role like you are in the new movie, is there any moment you're feeling insecure at this season?
Every single time.
Really?
Every single time. Because here's the crazy thing.
At this season of your career?
Yes.
But you've been
It's
crushing
excitement though, right? Like it's that fear that also, I have to remember that the physiological experience of fear is the same physiological experience of excitement. So that fear is like, holy shit, I've never done, because every time I play a new character, I'm doing something I've never done before. Like I do have a toolbox of like, I know how to memorize the lines and I know, but I'm becoming a new human being every time I start a new project, a new person with new desires and new fears. And she walks a different way and she wears her hair a different way and she has different ways of speaking and breathing and eating. And so I'm starting from scratch every time I start a new role. So I'm always terrified. And I'm always like, oh God, will I be able to figure this one out? Will I be able to unlock her? Will I be able to be her in the way that the project needs me to be her? So it's super exciting.
I mean, you've played all these personalities and characters and roles.
Yeah.
How do you not get lost in characters and roles and stay true to who your real character is in life?
Yeah.
And I've heard you also talk about how the best character you've ever played is mother and wife.
Yeah.
So how do you not allow all the films and TV characters you played to seep into your true essence, your true personality, your true role that you are?
So I think early in my life, you know, when I was in my 20s or even like as a teenager, I was really hungry for a strong sense of self, and I didn't have one. So the characters allowed me to explore different personalities and kind of take on different people's journeys. And that was really helpful to me to kind of experience life through somebody else's eyes and get a sense of what resonates and what doesn't, because I really didn't feel like I had a strong center. Really? Yeah.
Until when? How old were you when you felt like, oh, I'm good with me?
I think when I started treatment for my eating disorder and started therapy, I started to have a deeper understanding of self. And again, I think it's grown and evolved through the years, because also we're always changing, right?
Of course.
So our sense of self is always changing. But I think now I've really learned to see these characters as kind of extensions of myself. When I play a new character, I kind of have two jobs. There's an outside in approach and there's an inside out approach. And the inside out approach is I ask myself, like, what do I, Kerry, know about this character? What about her experience can I relate to deeply?
Personally.
Yes,
from your experience.
Personally. Yeah. And then do I have the courage to reveal that part of myself publicly and let the other stuff kind of fall away and let that part of me be my full essence in this character?
Can you give me an example with the new movie and Shadow Force?
Sure.
How you thought about that?
So like, you know, people say, before you have kids, people will say to you like, oh, I would kill for my child. And you're like, oh, that's such a cute expression, right?
Before you have kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you have children and you're like, oh, I get it. Like I can't imagine something I wouldn't do to protect my children, right? Like I love them so fiercely. So then I read this script where this woman is literally taking people out to protect her child. And I'm like, okay, well, I've never killed anybody in real life. I'm not a trained assassin, but I understand that love. I understand that fierce motherhood, that mother instinct, that like I would do anything for you. And I understand making tough choices for your family that don't always feel good, but are the right thing to do. So I say, okay, I'm not a mercenary. I'm not a killer. I'm not a spy, but I do know a mother's love. So the inside out is like, do I have the courage to reveal that kind of deep vulnerability that when you have a child, you become powerless? It's like that thing I've heard Obama say of like, your heart is suddenly on the outside of you walking around in the world. Like, can I let people into that and be that? And then the outside in is like, okay, but now I have to learn like fight training and weapons training and how she walks and how does she dress and, you know, how does she live in the world as somebody who's trained to kill people, and what kind of person becomes somebody who kills people for a living. And so there are like all these, and I know a little something about that too, like the desperation part of me of feeling like you don't have options. Okay, so can I let people into that? So it's like parts of me that do relate, bringing those forward, and then parts of me that don't relate, learning how to add those on.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because I feel like all of us have some type of darkness in us.
Yeah.
And so do you feel like you have to tap into that sometimes?
Sometimes, yeah, absolutely. And sometimes it's really hard to shake at the end.
Right?
Like,
at night, you're like, you're feeling the adrenaline because you become that energy.
Yes, you do. And I think before I got married and had kids, I was much more of like a method actor, meaning like I stayed in the characters all the time.
For months.
Yes. And it was miserable, quite honestly. You know, it's like really hard and really wreaked havoc on my nervous system. When I got married and had kids, I was like, I need to figure out how to put this down. Like, I don't want to bring this home. I want to be able to have a healthy life outside of work.
What's the tools or process for letting go of the character when you get home?
Some of it is ritual. Some at the end, like sometimes I really try to look at like the hair and makeup process and the costume process as very ritualistic. And so when I'm taking the clothes off at the end of the day, I'm taking the character off at the end of the day. Like I just did a movie where I was playing, it's a movie directed by Ben Affleck, and he and I are husband and wife. And so, every day at work, I have to take off my wedding ring and I pin it to myself. I never not have it with me. So I always pin it to myself somewhere.
When you're shooting, when you're filming.
And then I have to take this other wedding ring, right? That belongs to the movie. And I have to put on this other wedding ring. And now I'm in this marriage. So at the end of the day, it's really important to me to take off that wedding ring, take off that marriage. That's not my life, and put my own ring back on and step into my life, right?
Because it's like a psychological process of becoming a different person.
Yeah. But I think it works in life too, right? Like when we give ourselves those rituals, like there's something, when you have a meditation practice, like again, I pray and meditate anywhere, but there is something different about when I sit on that pillow in that corner of my bedroom and light that candle, there's a different kind of drop in, right? Like we have these cues that really allow us to signal to our body different realities and different ways of being present.
I feel like you've really had to train your nervous system to always come back home to safety.
Yeah.
Because you're playing these characters, and obviously it's make-believe or character or it's movie making.
But the body doesn't know the difference.
And your adrenaline is heightened. It's in fear, or it's in aggression, or it's in shooting, or whatever it's in, or it's in make-believe love, whatever it is. And so your nervous system in your body, you have to psychologically like remove it somehow and get back to the spiritual alignment of your character in life.
Yeah. And
who you are.
A lot of it is like being an athlete. You have to really take care. You have to make sure, because it wreaks havoc on your nervous system, the sleeping and the eating and the exercising, those practices are really, really important to maintain sanity. I remember after the second season of Scandal, I was like so depleted, so exhausted. And I went to my doctor and we did some blood work, and he was like, your adrenals are shot. Like, what is going on? And I was like, what's going on? I play this woman who, like, every single episode, somebody walks into my office on the worst day of their life and I have to fix it. So my adrenals are shot, Or when we were doing a scene, some crazy scene on Scandal where somebody was lying on the floor of the office covered in blood, and we're all like screaming and holding them. And I was pregnant at the time.
Oh my gosh.
And so after every take, the other girls in the cast and myself, we would all put our hands on my belly and we would say, it's just pretend. It's just pretend.
Wow.
Because you just have to remember. And like that little baby doesn't know the difference. That little baby is like, her heart is beating fast. Her adrenals are her cortisol, right? So I had to keep like going back and saying like, we're okay. It's just pretend. So that taught me that if I can do that for my baby, I have to do that for myself too, right? Like I have to, on the way home, go like, you're okay. That was pretend. Nobody's dying. Nobody's kidnapped. We're okay.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoy this and you want more inspirational content, make sure to click the subscribe button below and click right here to watch what's coming next.